Today, we're talking about the fourth valve on the tuba or the euphonium and how you can use it to enhance your playing. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron, helping musicians get better faster through product reviews, educational videos, and performances. And again, today we're talking about the fourth valve. Now, if you're new here, I do videos like this every single week, so consider hitting that subscribe button to get more videos like this directly to you. And before we get into specifics, I just want you guys to know that I am talking about B-flat concert tubas or euphoniums. So those of you playing on like C or F tubas, or maybe you're a treble clef reader on euphonium, just so you know, a lot of this information will still pertain to you, but the notes that I'm talking about are going to be different. And I am talking about a generality of what we can use the fourth valve for, so I know that depending on your model or like what type of euphonium, be it compensating or not, I know there's a lot of things that can change what that fourth valve can do. So keep in mind, I'm talking about a general aspect. So the fourth valve has three main uses. The first use is that it can be used as a new fingering for anything that uses the 1 and 3 or the 1, 2, 3 combination. Secondly, it can be used as an alternate fingering to either change the intonation of a note or maybe make passages a little bit easier to get through. And finally, it can also extend the low register of the tuba or the euphonium. So with that first point, changing how we play the 1 and 3 or the 1, 2, 3 combinations, be it a concert C or a concert B natural or a concert F or a concert E natural. Now, when I play C 1 and 3, it tends to be a little sharp, but when I play it with my fourth valve, it tends to be a little bit more in tune. This is because the fourth valve is actually made similar to the amount of tubing that a 1 and 3 valve combination would create, but a little bit longer so that it saves some of that intonation. And if you think about it with trumpet players, a lot of times when they play their 1 and 3 combo, they get told to kick out a lot of the time. This saves us having to alter every single time we do that because it's our instrument, makes it a little bit harder to get to the slides. So that's why it's actually a better option than using the 1 and 3 or the 1, 2, 3 combination, because the intonation tends to be way better. Now, using the fourth valve as an alternate fingering is typically done because you're trying to lower the pitch of a note. Now, say you're playing euphonium, you're above the staff, you're playing an F, and that note is really sharp. Well, what you can do is, in that context, maybe you throw down the fourth valve to possibly help the intonation on that note and drop it to be really flat. Now, of course, this is situational, and we don't want you to necessarily use this alternate fingering every single time, but a lot of times it can really help save a note that just in context becomes very sharp. Always, as a rule of thumb, when it comes to anything using intonation, you want to check your ear and you want to check your tuner to make sure everything is lining up the way you need it to. And then lastly, it can extend the low register of your instrument. So I call this the ghost register. It's that range between low concert E natural for our instruments and then that pedal B flat. We've got a spot where if we only have 3 valves, we can't do anything to hit it. But when we get that fourth valve, all of a sudden that opens up the opportunity to get in that in-between what I'm calling the ghost register. So what you do is you hit your fourth valve, you hit your fourth valve, and you use the same fingerings as you would an octave up to create those notes. Now, these are in good situations with like good horns or maybe a compensating system. Sometimes if you don't have a compensation system, you do have to do some alternate fingerings with that to make sure your intonation is good, but you can still get down into that lower register. So again, like I was saying earlier with using it as an alternate fingering, make sure you're checking your tuner because, just things get weird because that's not a range that we necessarily are supposed to be in regularly, which is why it's called an extended register. But really, those are the main uses of the fourth valve, and I highly suggest adding it into your playing. I know a lot of you students are really strong-headed and really want to use the 1 and 3 and the 1, 2, 3. You just refuse to use that fourth valve that's on your instrument. But I promise you, we wouldn't manufacture it, and I promise you the professionals wouldn't play with the fourth valve if it didn't make your playing better. So make sure you add it into your playing, and if you're a teacher of anybody who's using these instruments, please make sure you force these students as early as comfortable to add that fourth valve into their playing. Do you need a fourth valve to play the instrument? No. Do Do you need a fourth valve to be very successful in things like all county and solos and all state auditions and things like that? Yes, you do. For the most part, tubas and euphoniums can't play 2-octave scales, and also a lot of solos, especially more contemporary solos, without that fourth valve. Because composers have started dipping into that low register, it makes it really difficult for you to progress aggressively if you only have 3 valves. So for our question of the day, what was a good way for you to get used to adding in the fourth valve? Whether that be playing it in scales, maybe going into an etude or something like that, or maybe just forcing yourself to use it in your playing. How did you add the fourth valve into your playing? Go ahead and answer that question in the comments down below, and if you're learning, check out those tips down there and join the conversation. If you head over to my website, AKCEuph.com, and go ahead and click the Educational Resources tab, you'll find a free handout that goes along with this video. So if you just need a little bit more information, or you're a teacher and you want some supplemental information to give to your students, you can download this free PDF. In there, you'll see some of the information I'm talking about in this video, as well as a fingering chart with all of the fingerings that we're going to talk about with the fourth valve. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got on how to use the fourth valve. Remember, if you need a little bit more information or you need that fingering chart, go and check out my website to get that free PDF. If you like this video, please hit that like button, and remember to share this video with anybody who might need this information. Once again, guys, I'm Aaron, reminding you to be happy but never satisfied. I'll see you next time.